We are good.
Call this meeting to order. Roll call for the members.
Yep. So Mr. Treves?
Here.
Mr. Pax?
Here.
Ms. Ross?
Here.
And Ms. Akatsuki? Here. Great. We have a quorum.
Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do. And when it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn.
I do.
Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Treves. So first application this evening is conditional use application number CU-23-14. The applicant and owner for this application is Sherry Riviera and Frank Clay, and owned by Jessica Clay. The property address is 1550 Lewis Center Road, parcel number 318-213-07002-000, and the zoning on the property is neighborhood commercial. The request this evening is they are seeking a conditional use from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 13.04B to allow for an apartment above a commercial storeroom. So neighborhood commercial isn't typically a zoning that this board sees a lot, so it's going to be a little bit different than our kind of planned commercial and conditional use process. So, description of the request again, located on Lewis Center Road within the old Lewis Center Village in a zoned neighborhood commercial, which is C2. The building currently contains commercial businesses on the first floor and previously contained office space on the second floor. The applicant has renovated the office space on the second floor to have an apartment and wishes to rent it out, which under the neighborhood commercial is a conditional use under 13.04B. So surrounding the property to the north is planned commercial, which is the future Evans Farm development there. To the south is farm residential, which there's the church, education center, and some single-family residences. To the east is also neighborhood commercial. They have some single-family residences over that way. And then to the west is a farm residential district with commercial uses. So in the staff report there, you can see an aerial snapshot from the auditor's website. So again, this building has a number of different tenants on the first floor. And then below that is the street view from Google Maps. Okay, so onto the staff review section. So the 13.04 just kind of explains the conditional use process for somebody wanting to apply under this district. And 13.04 reads, apartments in areas over adjacent to the commercial storeroom or office facility, provided that apartments constructed within this district shall contain the following minimum floor space, exclusive of porches, basements, or garages, to wit. And then it outlines a couple different of the minimum square footage requirements for the type of bedrooms or units for the apartment. So with that, the proposed apartment on the second floor would be located over commercial storerooms and or office facilities on the first floor. The apartment would be a one-bedroom apartment that is required to have 750 square feet. The square footage of the apartment that they're proposing this evening is reported to be 900 square feet by the applicant, which does meet that requirement. So, in terms of public comments received, there wasn't anything additional other than what was included in the application. I know that the applicant had provided a number of different letters from neighbors, tenants within the building, the church nearby as well. So that's all that staff has for this. I believe the applicants are here this evening if they have anything further to add.
Sherry Riviera, 24 Montrose Avenue, Delaware, and I was sworn in. Essentially, that's what it is. I couldn't rent this office space. I tried for over a year, and then somebody stopped by, and I thought it was an office person, and they said this would be a wonderful apartment. And I said, don't like residential. And he went away, and about a week and a half later, he came back and he said, "This would really be nice." And it really is. It's top floor above the barber shop. You have all the windows on the east, and you have a window facing the south. And I said, no, I'm not interested in residential. And he came back about a week later, and I said, "You know what? I think I'm interested in residential. Let's talk." And yeah, finally, I can get it rented. And it's a beautiful loft apartment. It's just really, really nice. So I would love to have the permit. And I don't know if you're aware, we're in probably one of the last historic buildings in Orange Township. I did bring a photo. You should bring something.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see. It has a few historical things. We got it in 76, so that's 78. This is just across the railroad.
Yeah,
This is in 1890. That was for the village's point when it's.
I appreciated you putting the history of it in the packet. It was really cool to read about it. I didn't know.
So we've taken care of the building. In fact, the Google map is not the most up to date because we do have a new handicap railing. Because about a year and a half ago, somebody tried to beat a train, and they beat the train, but they took out our porch and the handicap railing and everything. So
And they survived.
and they survived. Yes.
Wow.
The squad was amazed. So anyway, that's about it. Thank you if you give us consideration. Do you have any questions for me?
Where would this person park?
In the back parking lot. Yeah, it seems like Witz was really concerned about the parking. I kept saying it's fluid. The parking changes every hour, and after the first week, she said, "You're right. There's no problem with parking." But we also are allowed to do overflow. The EMS lets us park a few cars over there in the church when they're through. We sort of share. They have a sign on our lot, and they let us park out there for overflow or events. But so far, there's been no problem. They will be working, and so it's just in the back.
Yes, in relation to that point, would there be a dedicated sign up there saying resident parking, private resident only?
No, because there's nobody there in the evening or on Sunday or anything. But they haven't had, problem with anybody.
That could be my only reservation, and whether that doesn't seem like that would be too much of an encumbrance. That would be just putting up a sign saying
That's
this
not a
space is
problem.
dedicated to an apartment unit.
We do have customer parking, few signs around, and I just sort of thought he sort of fell under that.
That would be the only reservation, and what I would, we would typically see in any kind of apartment project itself, that's not a renovation or an adaptation like this, would be spaces per resident, like
not a
one or
problem.
1.5 spaces per resident unit for the one, how many bedrooms it had. So that's the only thing to assure that resident hasn't there was an event that plowed the parking lot full of cars and they couldn't park their vehicle. That's the only reservation there for that.
Yeah, I can order. We have nice, new little parking signs, so I'll order one just for that.
Thank you. One other point is as procedure, with this project, would that have to go into the building department then for any related fire, life safety things, smoke detectors, that kind of thing? That's not in our purview, I understand that, but that's part of this process also, Brent?
Correct. Yeah, they would need to go seek any permits that are required from the building safety department, fire department, maybe soil and water, for wastewater or anything like that. So
We're on septic.
or septic, right?
And,
So
I have last year's approval from Delaware Health Department. I should be getting a new form. They come out in September, and they come out and inspect. So I should be getting that. And fire department, I just put the Corson fire box on the front porch. So that's there. I've got a great relationship with the fire department, so that's not a problem either.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from the county perspective, I mean, it might fall under a different type of use group. So I know the county kind of requires those types of things, or occupancy groups, so they may need to get those permits or inspections accordingly.
Yes, that would be the only thing with Delaware County, to the building department there, putting residential in our use over a storage facility, which is prone to higher risk. That would be the one concern they may have. So it's just as part of due diligence when you're looking at that project, beyond Orange Township, also Delaware County Building Department for their review to get your approvals and everything above line there. So that's the only other advice I could give towards the project. Otherwise, it's great to see that it's viable for someone to live there, and it's nice to roll. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Questions? Need a vote? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Based on these factors, I have moved to approve case number CU 2314 for the property located at 1550 Lewis Center Road seeking a conditional use for Orange Township zoning resolution section 13.04B to allow for an apartment above a commercial storeroom in an area zoned neighborhood commercial or C2.
Second.
Great. Motion to approve made by Ms. Ross, seconded by Mr. Treves. Those voting, Mr. Treves,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank
I'll
you.
follow up with you folks with a response letter in the next steps moving forward. The next case for the staff report will be presented by Mr. Andrew Koenig.
Good evening. Here we have variance case VA 2315. The applicant is Thayagaraja Gurusamy. The owner of the property are Thayagaraja and Thanuja Gurusamy. The address of the property is 7952 Fargo Lane, Delaware, Ohio. The parcel ID is 318-233-07-005-000. It's currently zoned single-family plan residential, and the request is they are seeking an area variance from rezoning case number 10745, North Orange, for a deck and concrete patio to encroach into the 35 feet rear yard setback. So, summary of the request: the applicant is requesting variance from North Orange's development text to allow for a deck and concrete patio to encroach into the 35-foot rear yard setback, 15 feet and 8 inches in an area zoned single-family plan residential. The site currently contains a paver patio, which will be removed for the project, and the subject is located south of Fargo Lane and is currently owned by Thayagaraja and Thanuja Gurusamy. The surrounding area, it is single-family planned residential zoned all around. The land use to the north, east, and west is single-family residences, and then south of the property is the North Orange HOA open space. So we have an aerial snapshot of the property. And then on to the staff review. The proposed porch addition would encroach 15 feet and 8 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback. That's at its most encroachment. If you'll notice, the rear property line is diagonal, so the 35-foot rear yard setback will vary depending on what part of the deck or concrete pad you look at. So if you look at the exhibit down there, the dotted line that is diagonal kind of shows the 35-foot rear yard setback in relation to that property line. So at that greatest encroachment, that would be a 45% variance from the rezoning case. So like I said, at its greatest encroachment, it encroaches 15 feet and 8 inches. And then at its least, on the right side of the site plan, it encroaches a little less than 10 feet. So onto some site photos. The first two photos, the cones represent the property line. And again, it is diagonal, so something to account for. And then you can see the other two placeholders represent the edges of the concrete patio and the deck. So those first two photos show that. On photo 3 and 4, the cones represent something different. The cones represent the 35-foot rear yard setback, and then the other two placeholders still represent the edges of the deck and patio. So again, something to remember is that those cones will be diagonal because your property line is diagonal. So you can see the setback in relation to where the edges of the deck and patio will be. So other than that, I think that is all that staff has. So.
Do we have any, you weren't here, so
That's right.
when you get up here to testify, I'll have you swear in. Raise your right hand and solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. State I do.
I do.
And state your name, full name and your address.
Tyagaraja Gurusamy, 7952 Fargo Lane, Delaware 43015.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Yeah, so it's been close to 2 years since we moved into this community, and we have not been making best use of our backyard, although we have like a nice wooded background. And adding on, we have a 2-year-old daughter, and my wife and I, we really want to give her the best experience where she can really play and have a good time, because in Ohio, hardly we get like 4 to 5 months of good weather. So we really want to make best use of it and give her the best life possible. As simple as that. And adding on, our lot area is not of a regular shape. As you see, it's like kind of diagonal, and that should be factored in as well. So that's the reason why we are going with this sort of dimension, so that we can make best use of the place that we are going for the wooden deck and the concrete patio.
I don't know if this helps at all in this context, but on the eastern side of that, so where the larger side of that diagonal is, where there's more distance from the property line, if that was even throughout, this type of request would be around 28% instead of the 45. So I don't know if that's helpful, but just had to put that out there. Additionally, I know this subdivision has had a number of variances in the past. There was one later in 2021 and a couple earlier last year. A lot of those were more compliance-based, where they had patios built before, and then they needed to come back and receive variances before this board. So a number of those had pretty substantial percentages as well. But I think it's just up to you guys for context. So
Yeah, I would appreciate any consideration on this matter. Thank you.
I have to say, the setback is so tight to your residence that it's not leaving you much room to even grow grass, let alone within that setback, then to put your porch addition. So I sympathize and understand why you're seeking the variance and the relief to that restriction. One question, do you have any intentions to build any structure out there beyond the deck and the patio?
Nope.
So nothing like a pergola or
Nope.
fireplace? Okay. Thank you.
But on the wooden deck, we are planning to put a gazebo on top of the wooden deck. Like, it's not
On top
beyond,
of the
on
deck?
top of the deck.
Okay. All right. one further comment, at least on an observation that I'm having on this, that the neighbors also have similar structures beyond house. So that's the other thing that I think is a factor here, that's common on that backside property residents. And so there shouldn't be that much of an objection in my opinion, for a gazebo at least.
On that topic, I actually forgot to mention, there was one public comment. It's the next door neighbor, pulled up here. And they accepted the variance. They said they had no issue with it, so something to consider.
No questions.
Someone want to make a motion?
I will. Based on the factors, I move to approve case number VA 2315 for the property located at 7952 Fargo Lane, Delaware, Ohio, seeking an area variance from rezoning case number 10745 North Orange to allow for a deck and concrete patio to encroach 15 feet and 8 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback in an area zoned single-family residential district.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, great. Motion to approve this variance case made by Ms. Ross, seconded by Mr. Pax. Those voting, Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you
motion
so much.
carries.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to stay for the rest.
Unless
You're more than welcome to, but you're welcome.
Have fun with the 2-year-old.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Okay.
Yep.
I'll take the last one. So this is, the last case this evening is variance case number VA-23-16. The applicant is the Kessler Sign Company. Owner is Tim Donut US Limited. The subject property is 9037 Owenfield Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035. Parcel number 318-324-02-003-009. The zoning is plain commercial. This evening, similar to last month, they're seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution from section 22.06J for the total sign area on a site to be above the allowed 3 square feet per foot of lot frontage. So description of the request. So again, this property is located on east of Owenfield Drive and west of US 23. The site was formerly a Wendy's and Tim Hortons and is currently owned by Tim Donut US Limited Incorporated. The owner plans to build a new building, which they've already torn down, including, and this new building includes new signage. The new construction in our zoning office was approved back in May, on May 13th, 2023. Again, the property is zoned planned commercial and office district under rezoning case number 5888. In addition to the approved plan, it is required to comply with Article 22 of the zoning code. So that's why they're seeking the variance from section 22.06J. Previously, last month, on our July 20th, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, the board had approved 2 variances for the signage height. One of those was located facing east along US 23 and the other facing north. Those are signage height variances. Additionally, the board had approved a conditional use for the monument sign. The 2 other variances for the total area for the site did not pass. So they have modified their application substantially to come back this evening, removing some of the signage, or the shutters, I believe, on the north side of the building, which substantially changed the application, and they no longer have 2 variances for the total site area, but just have 1 for the entire site. So last time they were asking 2 variances, 1 for the total site and then 1 for one side. This time it's just for the total site. So surrounding the area on all sides is zoned planned commercial and office district. Land uses to the north and south are commercial. East is Route 23 with also some commercial uses, and to the west is Owen Field Drive with the Meyer there to the west. Included is an aerial snapshot showing the property. And then onto the staff review section. So 22.06J is where they're seeking their variance. Essentially, that section says 40 foot of building frontage, which is what they have. You multiply that by 3, which gives them 120 square feet, which would be their total allowable square footage for their entire site. So that includes their wall signs, monument signs, any directional signage internally, anything like that. So, so Exhibit 1 shows staff's measurements of the building frontage along US 23 using their site plan provided in their approved commercial application, which shows it's 40 feet. So this evening they modified their request from last month. So they're requesting a total of 258.02 square feet of signage, which is roughly 115% variance request. So below there you see Exhibit 1, just showing that measurement calculated off of US 23. In Exhibit 2, it shows just some of our measurements as staff, just totaling up the total square footage for all of their proposed signage for the site. On there's a couple side notes on the side for Popeye's front sign and the wall seal. Those were the ones that last month had received height variances, and then the monument sign did receive the conditional use last month. So. I believe that's all that staff has for our staff report. The applicant is here this evening, so Adam, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
So, Adam Kessler, 2669 National Road, Zanesville, Ohio, 43701. So, as Brett mentioned, we eliminated 96 square feet of signage from the right elevation, and I think everybody was here last time, kind of understands the branding and the directional usage for the community to understand there's Popeyes there. And, the only other thing is that love this chicken element, which, is more of a fun branding thing than anything else. And I think, with social media nowadays and the clicks you can get from TikTok and Instagram, it's one of those things. We want this business to succeed, and I don't think we should take that away from them. And that's why they have it in their new branding program. And I think it's a big deal for them. So the shutters, I agreed after last time. Let's get rid of those 96 square feet of kind of weird noise that was considered a sign for some reason. And I've talked to their owner about that, and said, maybe we should eliminate this going forward. It only causes issues. So. Yeah, overall, I think, we're in a good spot now, and let's get rocking, I think, and get this place open.
Anything else for you?
That's all I have.
Okay. Questions?
At the last meeting, someone testified from the audience and spoken about adding signage to the back of the building. Nothing like that was added. And
No.
the signs were not changed.
Well, we'll change that. We'll probably change the content. We kind of took that into consideration. We'll probably change, maybe a Popeye's logo with the directional, but yeah, we won't do anything more than that.
I appreciate you coming back
Yeah.
with a different option and listening to our comments. And
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, the last second, to squeeze it in. But that's all I got.
So, someone want to make a motion?
I guess before we make a motion, and just to, in case the applicant, gets a sense you guys want, or maybe not going to act in favor, do you guys want to talk about, discuss anything before?
I'd just like to, I don't think we need to speak in private session, but I just do want to say that although this is a significant percentage according to what we typically look at, it is also a substantial variance. It's also a significant reduction from last time. And I think that that's a great plus, and I think that we need to do what we can to help this business.
It's up to you guys. Yeah, if you feel comfortable making a motion, again, since it's a board of 4, it would need 3 of the same type of vote in order for it to pass or deny or whatever, so.
Do you have any other comments? Okay then. Based on the factors, I move to approve case number VA 2316 for the property located 9037 Oakfield Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking an area variance from Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.06J for the total signed area of the property to be 258 and 200 square feet, identified in application VA 20 in an area zone planned commercial and office district.
I'll second.
Okay, great. Motion to approve made by Ms. Ross, seconded by Mr. Trevs. Those voting, Mr. Trevs?
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Ross?
Yes.
And Mr. Totsky?
Yes.
Great. Motion carries.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you. I'll follow up with you with the response letter and next steps. Okay, thank you, board. That's all we have this evening. I know we put minutes on the agenda, but we just haven't received those yet, so no action there. In terms of next month, we discovered on the calendar it is September 14th instead of the 21st. I know usually we do the 3rd Thursday, but next month is the 2nd Thursday, so. But I won't be there, so it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I'm gonna miss you guys. You guys are a rock solid group, so.
Wish you well in May.
Yeah.
Any other business that anyone can think of? Meeting stands adjourned.